Hi, everybody. I think I'm not muted. Let me double check. Not muted. Yay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Tides, a campaign set in the world of Exandria from the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, written by the one and only Matthew Mercer. I'm joined today in every session by our wonderful group of players. Why don't we go around and introduce ourselves and our characters to those watching, starting with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Oserex Franco. I play Harrison Gandazar, High Elf Wizard. And he's pretty cool. Passing it on over to Chum.
I am Chum. I go by Chum Nation if you're looking for me on the internet, and I am playing Stars in the Night Sky, Night for short, the Tabaxi monk. And always looking forward to punching somebody in the face. Ty.
Hi everyone, I'm Tyrant. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Tyrant. I will be playing Roman Thale, the Sea Elf Fighter Rogue, and I promise you, viewers, and my party members that I will not murder anyone in cold blood this episode.
Wow.
I got a nat 20 on my insight check.
Yeah, don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not even rolling.
I legitimately, I can show you. No, I'm kidding. Hi, I'm DM of Saint. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at DM of Saint. I play Turley the Turtle, a lifeblood cleric who had a lot of fun at his excursion last time and is still wondering about the vampire infestation in our current city.
Are you a cleric that I don't know about? A lifeblood cleric is what you said? These are
I said lifeblood cleric? I'm a life cleric.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, it's a homebrew blood hunter life cleric class.
I mean, that'd be kind of dope, honestly. Anyway, hi, I'm Ash. I go by Ash and Rabbit here on Twitch and over on Twitter, and I am the GM for this fun thing. Anyway, let's dive right in. During our last session, our players wrapped up their time in Nicodranus, setting sail upon the Skipping Jewel once more on their way back up the coastline towards Port Damali to hand in the alibi and witness account in hopes of freeing 3 earrings. Their sailing journey saw a quick break in beautiful, expansive coral reef, as well as a harsh, albeit brief, battle with the dragon turtle they encountered in their southbound sail. Ramon's quick thinking to dump the treasure left behind by the vampire Cassius Briarwood saved the ship and its crewmates from certain death, as a handful of people had already fallen to a single attack by the creature. Wounds patched up and treasureless, the crew finally arrived in Port Damali, where the group made an expeditious retreat to their previous rest stop, the Copper Tankard. After a well-earned night's rest, the group rushed to see that 3 earrings and her companion, Heidi Axebeard, were freed from imprisonment. A brief encounter with Danlin, the independent investigator into the matter, accepted the documents and agreed to free the prisoners. The group decided to make way to the Temple of Ioun, the city's Cobalt Soul hub, and found themselves following a stranger at Turley's suggestion, only to arrive at the temple much sooner than anticipated. What strange magics are afoot to cross a great distance in such a short time? What will the Cobalt Soul have to say about the group's current findings with the intrigue along the coast? Let's find out, shall we? Players, you find yourselves standing a stone's throw away from the Temple of Ioun. What would you like to do?
Well, all right, let's get in there, boys.
DM, I have a quick question.
Absolutely.
Turley has not slept since the last session.
Okay.
Did we sleep right before this? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
We did?
Yeah, you slept.
So
absolutely
thematically,
did.
Turley can be hungover and not still drunk?
Absolutely.
Cool, got it. Thanks.
Sick.
Turley's napping on his staff then.
Are we not at all concerned about what just happened?
Well, it's quite straightforward, my friend. You see, Turley saw a strange being that we then followed and seemingly arrived at exactly where we need to be. Convenient, no?
I mean,
Yeah, a little too convenient.
that is kind of what happened, right, Ramon?
I'm cool with taking this win, Roban. Not gonna lie. I really could use it.
You guys will see Three Earrings, Jarkal, and Heidi Axebeard all kind of standing there in stunned silence. Heidi is a little bit confused. She just, hey, that's where we're going, right? But Jarkal and Three Earrings are the ones standing there just besides themselves at this point.
GM, could I roll an Arcana check to see if I have an understanding of what something that might have caused this?
Yes, Arcana would work. Go for it. With a 10.
Damn it.
It doesn't really seem like anything other than maybe teleportation, but you didn't see anyone cast a spell. You didn't see any like components thrown in the air, no like portal or anything. It's hard to say exactly what this was.
Listen, I've been around magic for a while now, and it's clearly some sort of teleportation. But I don't see any immediate threat to our persons. And again, we are closer to our destination than further from our destination, which makes me believe that whoever sent us here is benevolent.
Listen, I've experienced a lot in my life, and I know personally that sometimes you just gotta go along with the flow, you know?
All right, well, building's ready. Let's go.
Knight, you doing anything?
Just refresh me where we are again. I'm sorry.
A minute ago, you were in the southern part of Port Damali,
Right,
very
okay.
close to the docks. You are now what used to be a 45-minute walk away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You were standing in, like, within eyeshot of where the Cobalt Soul is in the city.
Okay. Who are we to question this? Why don't we just proceed?
Sure.
Okay. And I will lead everybody over to the archive.
Okay. And anyone that might be looking would see Heidi just, like, tugging on Three Earrings' arm, like, come on, this is where we're supposed to go, right? And in a very confused fashion, Three Earrings and Jarkal will follow you guys in. So you enter the Temple of Ayun, and it's a similar state to the last time you guys were there. Massive library, like 3 stories tall. People everywhere doing very quiet research. It's fairly darkly lit in here with just candlelight and the big door behind you. But you see your previous contact here, Emery Page, kind of sitting silently in a chair fairly close to the door, as it now seems that is her new role, just to wait for people. And she'll see you guys come in and wave you over. Hello, good to see you again.
Yes, we find ourselves once again in need of the assistance of the Order.
Absolutely. What can we do?
Well, we have brought Captain Three Earrings with us. I had requested, first of all, that compensation be granted to her for relinquishing the artifact previously given. And also, there is a bigger plot afoot that we must discuss with the oh no, I'm having a moment. What is the senior person's title again?
I mean, look it up because I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Should have that book open.
Hey, I should too. So, like, don't feel bad. Let me just look at my map really quick. Hey, stream, you guys want to come and peer at a map with me? Ta-da!
Let's see. Factions and societies.
The only thing that's come to my mind is head archivist, which is definitely not the correct answer.
It's
'cause
something
that's what Emery,
like
that's
that.
what Emery is, though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I should totally have this. Oh dear. Well, she is an archivist. She's not a head archivist, but she is one that archives here at this very location.
Gotcha. Deleted my notes.
There it is. 52. Page 52 in the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. There you have that.
Hi, curator.
High Curator. That's the one.
Bless your heart.
Oh, no. The High Curator.
Oh no, that's fair.
No, the
Yeah,
High
there's
Curator is the head of
There's
the.
like one high curator.
Yeah.
They're like out in Vesselheim.
Oh, no. Those are the big archive. It might be each archive might have a High Curator.
Mm-hmm.
Because it
Yeah,
talks
I think
about
that-
two of
yeah.
them.
Yeah, there's Lomon Turi, which is one, and then Udalafan.
Right.
So
Yep. Yeah. So that's who I would be asking for.
For sure.
But
Here, let me just bring you guys in here if you want to come hang out. Boop. It's gonna mess up the music every time.
It's okay, fam. It's okay.
Excuse me, Emery. I do have some more information I'd like to share about Three Earrings.
Oh, of course. What would you like to share? And you would see Three Earrings, Heidi, and Jarkal just kind of standing in the entryway, and we'll just kind of like scoot along the wall until they find a place to sit. They are not comfortable here.
Excuse me. After extensive research and study and observation, I can conclusively say Three Earrings is not a vampire.
Oh, okay. I appreciate the attention to detail that you've been paying to those around you. Keep up the good work there, Mr. Turtle. Emery will kind of like shift with her hands nervously a little bit and look towards you, Knight, and say, well, it seems as if I am the one that you would need to speak to about this matter. Our higher ups are they're out on sabbatical. What can I help you with?
Very well. First and foremost, we're trying to go back to Nicodranus, right? Or no?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
with her.
That is step
Right?
3 of the plan. Convince
Okay,
the
what was the
Cobalt
first-
Soul to teleport us to Nicodranus.
Truly,
What's,
not
the
one
fir-
finger.
what's step one?
Step 1 was get to Port Damali. Step
Okay.
2 was deliver statement
Check.
and free 3 earrings and Heidi. Check.
Check.
Step
Okay, so
3.
we're on step 3.
Yes.
Okay, got it. We were hoping we could use or inquire if there is a teleportation circle here that could get us back to the archive at Nicodranus.
Oh, that's typically reserved for our expositors. What is the cause for desire for the teleportation?
For one, it ties into the aforementioned plot. It seems that the Plank King is moving against the Clovis Concord, and while I know it is not our position to intervene in such things, sparing the lives of innocents who are being used as pawns definitely falls within our mandate.
I see.
Three Earrings' daughter is a possible target.
I understand. Miss Three Earrings, and she'll kind of look behind you guys and look towards the Tabaxi. Have all of you been exonerated of your crimes against the Clovis Concord? And Three Earrings is just kind of standing there stiff as a board, and she'll just... Yes?
Yes, we did. We supplied the proper paperwork to their captors, and hence them here. There's no under the table dealings, at least with this release. It's all on the books.
See, okay. That shouldn't be a problem then. Let me go ring one of the higher ups out in Vasselheim and see if this is something that we can make an exception for, especially given the current status of the coast. I'll be just one moment, and she scurries off towards the back room that you guys were previously in. Let's do it.
Well, this is going rather well.
There's no reason that I can tell for them not to assist us in what we are doing. But I will confess that my rank here is not... I'm not privy to a lot of the higher level discussions and inner workings, so... I was just asking someone in the Discord, but I'll ask it out loud just because I seem to recall some interaction with Danlin, the tortury, creepy guy, that makes me think or remember that he had something to say or do with the Cobalt Soul. Am I correct with that?
Absolutely, you are.
There's something. Okay.
Isn't he like a third-party contractor or something like that?
Well, we found out he was an expositor.
That's what his initial thing was, but yeah, that's what it was. Okay. But is an expositor or was an expositor? Is. Okay. Okay.
As far as you know.
Right. Well, that's my question.
Oh no.
So, but I can ask.
If you would like. A few moments go by if no one else wants to do anything while you're just sitting here waiting. A few moments go by and Emery will rush back to the table, trying to be as quiet as possible in the current state of things. And she'll just kind of rush back and bow and say, it has been cleared. How many require the use?
All of us.
6.
Yes.
I see.
I hate to ask, but do I count as 1 or 2?
You are 1, Mr. Turtle. You are fine. You're a silly one. There are 7 of you. Are you not all using the
There's
circle?
7 of us?
Yeah, there's the 4 you.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah,
3.
and then
Yeah,
the
3
3
of them.
others. There's 3 Earrings, Heidi, and Jarkal.
Yep.
Oh.
Heidi and 3 Earrings will kind of excitedly look at one another and step forward up to you guys and say, yes, we are hoping to return to Nicodranus. And Jarkal is still kind of standing in the back. Just, no, you're right, it's 6. I'm sticking here. I have a crew with down at the port, so we're fine.
Very well.
He'll start ushering you
Archivist
towards the back.
Page,
But
before we go,
yes,
we had, and 3 Earwings had, dealings with a person called Danlin. Are you familiar with this name?
you will see her completely tense up as she's attempting to guide you. Whoever is walking directly next to her will see this. Anyone else will very likely see her just kind of ushering you along. But as she's speaking with you, Knight, she'll just continue walking, but like keep eye contact with you, and not say anything back quite yet.
Okay.
You guys will be led through this chamber back to the one where you guys were previously, where there was that miniature teleportation circle, that kind of vortex of random light and papers and stuff. You'll see, a few other monks in there studying away and cataloging based off of their notes directly into these large tomes. And you'll be led into a stairway that goes down. And it goes down. And it keeps going down. You guys spend about 5 minutes walking down this spiral staircase. Time is kind of lost at this point. But you're led to a single door. And, excuse me, Emery will open it, just kind of hold it open for you guys to walk in. And it will just be a circular chamber with a teleportation circle inscribed into the bottom of the stone. I understand this Nicodron is correct. I just always have to double check. We've had incidents.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, what? Incidents.
This is not something you figured out now? You have this whole thing situated?
I'm very bad at jokes.
I
I'm so
think-
sorry.
I think she means incidents where someone went to the wrong place, not that they blew up or something.
Yes,
I'm sure
there's.
I'm so
Night, I
concerned.
hadn't even considered someone blowing up. So thank you for that visual.
I promise you, it was one time. It was
One
half a
time someone
decade
blew
ago.
up.
No, not
Very good.
Out of curiosity,
So
how long
curious.
ago?
50 years ago. We've since tightened up our ranks. Nothing to worry about. It was mostly a joke. Someone got sent to Zadash, I think it was, instead
We'll see.
of.
It's not so bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was only an extra week of travel for them. It was fine. So right this way.
I mean, it's not like they grew an extra arm or something.
Absolutely not.
Also not something I had considered, Knight. So thank you. Let me just add that to the list of things that could go wrong.
Knight is just cracking himself up.
Although, Harry, imagine all the spells you could do with an extra one. That'd be cool.
Nope, not worth it.
Are you able to answer my inquiry, at least in a general sense?
Has everyone else entered the teleportation chamber? Is anyone hanging back?
I mean, Charlie would have been last, but he's there.
Roman and Harry?
I'm up there.
You good?
Yeah. Harry's keen on getting 3 earrings to safety and reunited.
Okay.
I think he's that guy where he's like, this is gonna be such a beautiful scene. Like when he gets the mom and the daughter to reunite, and he's like all about that.
I love this very much. Yeah, and 3 earrings, and Heidi will just kind of like scoot between Emery and Knight, kind of still at the door in that tiny little hallway. They'll enter into the chamber. Yes, I know of Danlin. He's no longer with the Cobalt Soul.
Are you aware of his current employ?
Please don't tell anyone I said this, but yes.
Is the Cobalt Soul aware of his current employ?
They signed off on it, yes.
Who exactly is he working for?
They're independent.
I see. Quickly, can you tell me why he was expelled?
He wasn't.
He left.
Yes. I can't say anymore. I'm so sorry. That's the
That's
most that I
fine.
can say without prying ears and prying eyes.
I understand.
Ooh. Surely wishes he had Zone of Truth prepared.
If you wish to learn more, there is a small archive out in Nicodranus. If you ask to go into the Delta section, they might have some information there for you. But that's, again, I'm not the one that told you this.
I understand. Very good. Thank you for all of your help, Archivist Page.
It is my pleasure. Travel safely, and she will shut the door behind her. Not a moment later, as soon as the door is shut, there is a whirring of light and wind in kind of a cyclone. That in an instant, you're standing in a very similar chamber, but the rock pattern is different, and there's actually some windows in the wall. You have teleported. And just a moment later, the door to this chamber opens, and you see a monk standing there. Yes, I understand you're coming from Port Damali. Welcome, this way.
Where are we and what year is it? Knight, can you check my back for extra arms?
Oh my god. You have a tail now. That is excellent.
What? What kind? Is it like yours or is it like a monkey's? That's very different, and I need the particulars.
Knight just laughs, and it's very unnerving to see a Tabaxi laugh because there's lots of teeth.
This is very good. The monk will just stand there very similarly to how Emery was, just holding the door open, awaiting you all to exit the teleportation room.
Harrison is instructing Lenny to check to make sure he doesn't actually have a tail, and seeing that he doesn't, he sighs a little bit sad, but mostly relieved.
Do we want to check out the Delta section while we're here? Come back.
It's the Delta section.
The what?
Huh? What did you say?
Can y'all just keep the volume down a little bit?
The Delta section. Which,
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what was said.
Yeah, if we wanted more information on Downland, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I may not have been entirely obvious with that.
Completely missed that.
That's okay.
Because I had a different idea about how I would go about finding out. We can certainly ask, but I don't know if they will be willing to share. However, well, I guess since we're here, we should try to find out. I would like to also see if I can try and send a message to my mentor. That might yield some results as well.
Harrison,
Yes.
what is step 4 on the list?
And he will retrieve a small notebook from his back pocket. Rendezvous with Harriet.
Right. Do we have a rendezvous spot?
Well, I assumed that would be your gig, as that's kind of your contact.
Right.
I would think somewhere down by the docks. No?
Yeah.
What was that tavern that we stayed at here?
Yes, lovely
Something
place.
about was it about a duck or stand by? Could have sworn it had something to do with the laughing ghost. That's it. Nothing to do with the duck. Sorry, I just recalled my very wonderful bath that I had the other night. It's wonderful.
I mean, it could be a duck's ghost that's laughing, but,
I
non-specific.
like your creativity, Knight.
Yes, let's check out the lab he used first, and if we can't find Harry there, perhaps the owner will know.
Yes. But before we go too much further, Turley, have you had any water today?
I have not had any water today. I was actually going to ask if we could have a 3.5 on our plan to get something to settle my stomach.
Yes, I think that could be quite in order. We might be able to find a street stall of some kind, get you settled. Perhaps there's a bakery nearby, or we need a lot of carbs, a lot of bread.
It's funny. I'm actually craving like lettuce. Is that weird?
Perhaps it's your biological evolution speaking. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. When I feel bad, I kind of crave grass. So, it's
Well, again, I
helps
think
with
that's
the regurgitation.
I think again.
Wait. I don't want to regurgitate though. I'm trying to avoid it.
Sorry.
I don't know, Charlie. That might be the fastest step to getting better. Sometimes, better out than in.
All right. Well, just standing here, I'm sweating like, yeah. We got to get going.
Yeah, let's find you some bread and greasy food.
Then lettuce, as long as it's got lettuce.
All right.
Sure.
So who's doing what? You guys are being led out of the teleportation room and essentially straight into the back part of the small library that's here in Nicodranus.
So Knight will step to a table or something like that, pull out a sheet of parchment and write a quick note that says, it'll be addressed to Glade at the Zadash archive, and it will say, had a run-in with Danlin, discovered a surprise, and please advise how to proceed. And I will seal it and hand it to whoever's leading us and ask that it be sent to Zadash with extreme haste.
Okay. Yeah, the monk that's leading you will kind of bring you to the waiting area that's kind of in the middle of this library where you guys are standing. You'll see like a front desk where people can bring their finished books back to be sorted back into the library. You can see the door that you just came out of. You can see a kind of stunted hall that leads you back to the front door and assumedly out of this building. And the monk that guided you there will silently bow, take the note, and rush off into another room, kind of behind some more book stacks. What's everyone else doing?
Harrison would be, sticking to a plan of getting Turley what he needs. He'd be keeping an eye on 3 earrings and Heidi, just making sure that they're all right. No, understanding that this is a jarring experience, and they just checking on them a little bit.
You'll see Heidi and 3 earrings again sticking pretty close together. They've found a set of chairs to sit in and just kind of sit and relax. You'll see 3 earrings is kind of like, the whole like make and brag thing that cats do, into like the little plush arms of the chair. And Heidi's just kind of like swatting at her hands. Like, no, stop it. Just stop. You're going to ruin the furniture. So they're
here. Miss 3 earrings, I can assist. And Harrison will kind of mutter to himself, and there'll be an explosion of like that silver blue shimmery glitter that'll kind of trickle down, and in his hand is a small like blue cushion that has like embroidered in it little cats like playing with balls of yarn in various different positions, and he'll kind of wipe it off and hand it to her and be like, go crazy, it's magic, it's not like you could hurt it if you try.
This is the greatest gift I've been given in quite some time. You said it's magic. I can't completely destroy it.
No. And if you do, we'll make a new one. This one will go away
Oh.
after an hour, though. So, do what you need.
She'll kind of lean over to Heidi. Remind me to bring more magic users onto our cruise. And you'll see her just kind of plop down on the floor and then just continue making biscuits in it. Just you see her just kind of like stretch out her paws a little bit, like they've been really sore. She's, got a crick in her neck, so she's moving around, but this is what seems like some sort of meditative thing to kind of help her relax a little bit. Heidi just kicks back in the chair. Turley and Roman, what are you guys doing? Turley's got a craving for a salad.
Yeah, I mean, Turley is literally like following whichever party member is going to get him to sustenance faster.
Realizing I don't want Turley to, upchuck all over these nice books and find people. Roman, he wants salad. How easy would it be for Roman to guide Turley to the open market?
Fairly easily. You would have an inkling of where you're at in the city already. This small library is kind of in the northern part, kind of on that weird border of the Zalezo and the guard of most of Wildemount, where there's kind of a clash of like who really takes care of the area over there. But you know that like a quick 2-minute walk down one road, down another corner, and there's like a little market that you could go and explore.
All right, Turley. I'm gonna get you some food. Follow me.
Okay. You're kind of quick though. Can you slow down from your normal pace?
Yes.
Roman will let Harrison Knight know that he is assisting Turley get some food and where to find them as well.
Okay. Yeah, we'll stick with you guys for a hot second. So, excuse me. You guys exit the library, and Roman very easily leads you down towards this market. There's only a few stalls out here right now. Time of day, it's still morning, so not all of them in this area are all set up, but you'll see a couple fresh produce people kind of setting up their stuff. There's one bread maker setting up, already ready to go, and it's usually the butchers that are taking their time.
This all looks really good.
Right. You said you wanted lettuce, Turley.
Yeah, it's just what I'm craving.
Find a big, we'll say lettuce cart.
My cabbages.
Yeah, my
Exactly.
cabbage.
And I'll buy Turley a couple heads of lettuce.
Very good.
Could you
Easy
get
transaction.
could you get me some of those berries too?
Oh, the berries are buy one get one free.
Fine. Couple berries as well.
Very
Also,
good.
I saw on that next card over that you have mushrooms too. Can I have those?
Oh, absolutely, whatever you want. That's 2 silver, please.
Oh, I think I left my coin purse back with Harrison and Turley.
That's funny, Sea Elf. You can't do that. Not around here.
Kidding.
And he'll toss over the coinage.
Very
and
good.
He'll lead Turley over to a bench that overlooks the. I'm assuming that the open market overlooks the bay,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely. Okay, yeah. You guys find a nice, calm place to sit. Turley with his cabbage and a couple bowls of berries. If you happen to inspect the berries, you'll see that they're kind of moldy at the bottom.
That's okay. Turley likes things that are slightly decaying.
Very good. we'll head back over to you, Knight. Knight and Harry, along with our fun friends, still back at the library. I forgot the word for library. It's fairly quiet in there, much like the previous Cobalt Soul place that you guys have had the chance to venture into. The monk that you handed the note off to, Knight, is kind of scurrying around. They went in one door. They were gone for a few minutes. They came back to the desk. They're like rustling through some papers. Went back. Came back, rustled through more papers. Went and like talked to another monk. Went back. So they're clearly doing something, trying to make it work. At this point, Three Earrings and Heidi have both kind of like started to doze off a little bit. Just kind of starting to pass out. They're extra cozy.
I mean, we don't have to wait here. I can let them know where we're going, and I can always come back as well to check. So,
I understand, but and Harry will like look over where they're kind of like dozing off in the chair a little bit. Maybe let's just give them a little bit. This has been a rather exhausting journey, and we're safe here.
Well, we are, but I thought the goal was to collect her daughter.
It is. We can leave if you find that necessary.
If it's her daughter, if she's not worried about it, then I just thought there was more urgency. That's all.
I think once, I have to be totally honest with you, Knight, once we entered into the Cobalt Soul, I felt a little more at ease with our current plan, and I don't know. He looks over at Three Earrings and Heidi and kind of sighs. This feels like the end of something. I'm not quite sure. Once we reunite these two, it'll spin something else off, and I don't know. I'm a bit all right sitting in this moment.
Glad that we can provide that level of security.
Yeah, well, it does help that I've seen you rip things to shred with your claws, and I'm fully aware of just how much firepower you're packing, but yeah, rather nice.
Well trained. Okay. We will wait.
And you do wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. This monk seems preoccupied with several different things all at once. It's certainly not busy in this library, but they seem a little stressed out trying to get this message sent out. About 45 minutes pass, and the monk comes rushing back to you. Hands you a message and says, "I'm so sorry this took so long. We had to ensure that the information was correct. Here you are." They'll bow and leave. And I just damned you a message of what they sent.
Yep.
Charlie, you feeling better?
You're muted.
Still muted.
Turley, you're muted.
Muted.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think a frog caught my throat. This is a joke from back in my home area. Listen, DM, I'd like to do two things.
Absolutely. What would you like to do?
Turley, on the berries that are slightly rotten.
Mm-hmm.
Turley would like to attempt to cast Spare the Dying on one of them. What happens?
Give it a shot.
All right. So I cast spare the dying. I touch a living creature that has 0 hit points, and it becomes stable. Does it become stable?
You expel the energy, and you see the berry kind of wiggle in your hand a little bit. And the mold starts to wither away for a split second. And then it comes back and it's just a moldy berry.
DM, I would like to cast light on the berry.
Okay, easily enough. You cast light on the berry and it is now a moldy, glowing berry.
Can you see the mold from the glow?
You're saying you cast it on the berry and the mold is somehow separate from the berry.
Well, no, I'm saying, can you see the mold through the glow?
Mm.
I'm picturing this like one of those cool, like things you put on top of a candle that's got all these cool designs on it that just like splay out onto the wall around you.
Mm-hmm.
Light from where the berry skin is and nothing from where the mold is.
Ramon, I realized I hadn't quite offered you some of my food and you paid for it. Here, I got you this berry.
Oh, it's actually quite nice of you.
They're really tasty. You should try it. You can really taste the terroir where it came from.
It's a bit
Musty.
ripe.
Yeah. Best ones are. Anyway, we can oh, my knee is killing me today. We can get going. I'm sure they got stuff that they need us for.
Yeah.
I appreciate you getting me food.
Well, I wouldn't want you to feel bad if we're doing. I don't know what the hell we're doing, Charlie. Do you?
I just kind of take life one day at a time, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not entirely convinced I can do this, so just kind of doing what I can.
Hopefully we can take a little bit of a rest here soon. Now that we've tied up all the loose ends. Or about to.
Yeah, that'd be real nice. Well, lead on, Speedy. Again, please be slow. My knee's bad today.
Hey, Ramon.
Yeah.
Hi. As you guys are sitting here and enjoying the nice breezy morning here in Nicodranus, having chilled out for an exceptionally nice time, while Turley just munches on some cabbage, you find yourself staring out towards the sea. Where you guys are at in the city, you're kind of up on the higher part of the city. You're in the northern part, but that's also a bit higher up into the hills. So you have a pretty good view of looking out into the ocean. You see ships so far away from here, but you swear you can see them bobbing in the water. Some coming into port, some leaving, some hiding their sails as they sail around to the more nefarious part of Nicodranus. It's kind of lightly cloudy. A pretty clear day. You could swear on the horizon you see one giant brewing storm cloud. Just for a split second. It's dark and twisting, and lightning comes from it, and it expels itself up into what looks like the stratosphere. It looks like it just keeps growing and growing. And this happens in an instant. And then it's a nice clear day. Soft and breezy. Just like it was a moment before.
You know, Turley, life is strange.
You're not wrong, my friend.
And we'll continue.
DM, while we're continuing, I would like to occasionally, as we're passing by other people, touch random things that are on them and cast light on them.
Okay. Where are you guys going? You're just kind of walking around? Excuse me.
Back to the colossal.
Okay, very good. It's just a couple minute walk down an alley and down a street and back over to the library. But as you do, Turley's just kind of touching a sign, touching an orange in a stall. And this is light. You walk past it. Touch this. This lights up. That's Dimmigown. Touch kid on the head. Couple hairs on his head. And now bright light. And anyone watching will just see light. 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 Back in the library, Knight and Harry are still with Three Earrings and Heidi. And a moment passes, and your two friends are back here with you. Turley and Ramon pass through the fairly heavy doors back into the library. They're back together. Turley has now had salad, feeling great.
How's your stomach, Turley? Feeling better?
It's listen, it's much better. I've been occupying my time, so it's been good. It's a good day so far.
This is good news. I think we probably have time to set a course for other places. We have a daughter and a mother to reunite, and we should probably get to it. Though we might want to discuss. I assume we're heading to the Laughing Ghost to meet with Harriet, yes?
Well, what would Three Earrings prefer? Safety or daughter first?
As she hears her name being spoken and the word daughter come from your mouth, you see her ears perk up. She looks up at you and says, I would like to see my Avalon, please.
Is your answer?
Well,
Okay.
then we must return to Avalon's apartment. Perhaps we can retrieve her there as well. Make arrangements with Harriet for their safety.
Yes.
Is there a courier that works for the Cobalt Soul?
I'm sure there is.
Sure.
There's got to be.
Could I find the courier
Mm-hmm.
and write a little letter that just says, "We've returned. Meet us at Avalon's house. We'll talk there." Signed, Ramon. Addressed to Harriet. Tie it up. Hand it to the courier.
I have contact here in Nicodron Estate. Harriet.
Do we know what her last? Do I remember what her last name is?
Her last name is Boone.
Yes, I know. I told you.
Harriet Boone, if you could deliver this to her quickly.
And Ramon will hand the courier 5 gold.
His eyes light up and he's just like holding on to your note as if it's the most precious thing in the world. I will get this to them in haste, and runs out the door.
Well, one stop it is. Harrison.
Well, then let's be on our way. Perhaps I'm trying to think about, what we could do following this. I still haven't given up on our Dewata base, gentlemen. Let me be very clear. I've decided that potatoes would probably be the proper crop. I was getting a little ambitious with trees. I think potatoes would probably serve us better. High in nutritional value, those. It's really just going to be a matter of the sunlight, as always. It's always a matter of the sun.
We'll see.
Shall we then?
Do we need to go find a mirror store? Wasn't that a big part of it? Bunch of mirrors.
Eventually, yes. I do think that will be required.
I was
But-
kidding. We need to go and rescue her daughter. Stay on task, Harrison.
But it's fine. You can think and walk at the same time. I find that. What's that, Pliny? But of course, we'll make enough room for you to fly around. I'm not a monster. And Harrison will kind of
Learn how to
start
swim.
moving towards the door.
Plenty still on your
Swimming will
shoulder?
be unnecessary. Huh?
Is Plenty still on your shoulder?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Truly would like to attempt to lightly, pet Plenty
Are you trying to cast light on my familiar right now, my dude?
as Plenty goes by on Harrison's shoulder.
Okay. You reach out to do that, and Pliny will lift his wing and look at you as if you have offended him in the deepest sense of the word, and will sidestep away and look at you like, who do you think you are?
Do you like? Hey, Plenty, do you like berries?
He will hop over to the opposite side of Harrison's shoulder and glare at you from behind his head. Oh,
Wait.
that's rude. He's just offering you a berry.
Clearly eats the berry and follows.
Pliny just the owl equivalent of.
Okay, so you all head out of the library and make your way towards Avalon's apartment.
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
Very good. It takes you a little bit longer than last time because you're coming at it from a completely different angle in the city, but Roman, being the one who has been here before, can swiftly guide you through streets and alleyways and find your way back to Avalon's apartment. Let me bring you there. Doop, 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 boop. Got 3 earrings and Heidi in tow. As soon as you guys come into view of the home, 3 earrings starts running, which doesn't look like something she should be able to do at this point, having been held captive for so long. But she pushes through the pain, tears in her eyes, and she runs and starts just banging on the door as softly as she can to not attract attention, but to gain the attention of her daughter. Just a moment later, Avalon will come open the door, tears filling her eyes as well, as she just slams the door open, holds her arms open wide, and 3 earrings in her are finally reunited. Just grasping one another as if life depends on it, kind of spinning in circles. You know how you do when you haven't seen a friend in a very long time. You just hold on to them so tightly as if the breath in your body is what's fueling them. They are silent and just holding one another. 3 earrings kind of grasping Avalon's shoulder and kind of toying with the fur on her head, and holding her tightly once more. Heidi will just kind of creep into the room and stand off in the corner, just kind of toeing on under her feet, just waiting for a hug. Avalon will see her and just hold an arm open and say, "Heidi, get over here." And she joins the embrace as well. The door is still wide open. Avalon is crying in pure happiness. please come in. This is, I didn't expect this for today. You guys are welcome inside. Feel free to
Harrison
move
will
your
post
tokens.
up at the door and be like, gentlemen, feet. And he will do a prestidigitation line as they walk in to clean off their feet or shoes.
Very good. You all enter the apartment. Feel free to move your tokens wherever you would like, within reason. Heidi will kind of wipe a tear from her eye and go and sit here at the kitchen table. 3 Earrings and Avalon still just refusing to let each other go, but finding it in them to scoot on over to this couch and sit together, just in stunned silence, as the rest of you join in.
Well,
Yes, go ahead.
that we've seemed to have made it. We will be joined by another party. You see, we could not have made these arrangements without the help of a wonderful person named Harriet. She will be joining us soon, so we can plan out what is best to do next.
Oh, I see. Well, if they are trusted, then that is more than okay. Mother, would you like to go and rest for a moment? You look so tired. And 3 Earrings will kind of like look back over towards Heidi, kind of give her a slight nod and say, I haven't slept very well in a while. So that would be nice, but not quite yet. We have some planning to do. And at that mention, Avalon will kind of sit up a little bit more proper, and look towards you all. Planning? I understood you have freed my mother of her obvious imprisonment and false imprisonment at that, and I can't thank you enough for that, but I don't understand what else needs to happen. Mother, you're home. You don't ever have to go back out there again.
Well, about that, Miss Avalon, it's not so much as her having to go back out as the out coming here. You see, your mother finds herself in the center of a plot by none other than the Plank King himself. It seems that he is making aggressive moves along the coast, and while your mother is no longer imprisoned, unfortunately, that does not mean that she is safe.
I understand.
Also, your mother is once a lieutenant of the Plank King. And the Plank King betrayed her. I'd be willing to bet that some retribution might be in order. What do you say, 3 Earrings?
She won't meet your eyes. She's kind of staring over her daughter, clasping her hands together. But will reply, I'm not one to turn down revenge. As she tucks a bit of stray fur behind Avalon's ear.
Well, when you're ready, after you've rested, I have a job for you.
Her ear perks up, straight towards you. Job. You ask a former captain of a job in which he has no ship. Don't know what I can do for you.
A ship can be found, made. But if the Plank King is going to pay pay for his crimes. All of his crimes. I can think of no one better than you to lead that resistance.
Hear, hear.
He'll kind of look teary-eyed at Avalon. Anything to protect this sweet girl. Anything to tell that disgusting man how much I hate him. Because clearly the feeling is mutual.
I have a contact that is going to be meeting us here. We can discuss a little bit, but I do recommend that you two rest. I know how tiring a prison cell can be.
Rest is, I would say, well-deserved there. Heidi? And Heidi's just kind of starting to pick at some of the food on the table. Aye, Captain, yes. Oh, rest, of course, please. And as you all are having this conversation, a light knock. Well, oh my god, you scared me. Thank you. I was like, what is that?
The timing.
It's a plate of corn dogs and tater tots, so, like, it's great, but my god.
Corn dogs.
Corn dogs.
It's
Wait.
like, First thought was, there's a cat coming in here, and I was like, wait, I don't have a cat, and then it was just corn dogs, so.
Pascal?
Everything's fine. Anyway, a light knock is heard from the front door. Avalon will, she'll get up, but like, hard to do so, hard to leave her mother, but she'll stand up and kind of straighten out her dress and make her way, over to the front door, open it. Hello, are you Roman's friend? She'll say, super not, like, conspicuous at all. And you'll see Harriet kind of poke her head through the door. I am Ramon's friend, if you want to call him that.
Ah, Harry, come in.
Harry, how you doing, my boy? And
I'm
Avalon
doing all
will
right.
step back and allow Harriet in, and in quick fashion, she'll just, like, kick off her boots and walk on in. Sorry, I saw a collection of shoes at the front door. I didn't want to track any mud in. So, here to plan. Here. 3 earrings. I know you by name and by photo, but that's at most that. It's nice to officially meet you, Harriet Boone. 3 earrings will just kind of look her way and nod and turn her attention back to her daughter. So, plans. Ready.
Well, right, yes. So let's talk about it. We need to ensure that these people are brought to safety. We also need to begin trying to get a better understanding of exactly what is going on and why 3 earrings were targeted. If it was simply by virtue of her station as a lieutenant, then mystery solved. But I can't help but think that that's a little bit too mundane for this Plank King.
The Plank King and mundane don't know how to form in the same sentence. It's just unheard of.
Right. That was my thought as well. So while we are here and together, I don't know what the next steps look like. And he looks at the rest of his party. This started out, I just wanted to get drunk on a beach somewhere. I gotta be honest, guys. I'm a little uncertain of where to go from here.
Harry, I'm gonna need you to not mention alcohol for like at least another 18 hours. If that's okay.
And he like eyes a bottle of wine that he had been kind of scoping out since he walked in. That is going to be unfortunate.
Hey, listen, 3 earrings. I hate to be so blunt about this, but have you what'd you do to piss the Plank King off so much?
I trusted him a little too much and let him know of my desires to broaden the revelry in a more legitimate way. In a more...
So you wanted to legitimize this criminal operation?
Legitimizing criminal activities. Pish posh. It's more of hoping to be more inclusive and diverse with those that we bring into our ranks and promote hither within. Saw a lot of discrimination and preference for those with certain skills and not giving a chance to those who had not as much experience and just blossoming skills. I wanted to take the younglings under my wing, or for claws.
Shells.
Absolutely. I wish
So he was
to... Sorry, yes,
He was
Harrison.
afraid of you. He was afraid of you. You provided a nurturing and inclusive environment. He was afraid that people would grow to trust you more than him. Rule through true leadership versus rule through fear alone.
Right. The Plank King rules through fear, but also in what I would unmistakably call a family aspect. He makes people feel like they've been included for a reason, as if it is their destiny, that they were meant to be there. But just as soon as he would tell them they were meant for a certain role within the revelry, he would immediately start planning against them. Not in... What's the best way to say it? Not out of fear for himself, but... Well, I guess it is a bit of fear for himself. It's more of preventative measures. He would see the good in people, the ones that had the skills and the experience, and those who would fly his banner on their flags, loot in his name, and come back to Darktoe with the idea that we were all one giant family, and anyone that he saw that had a glimmer of hope and maybe a bit of ingenuity, he felt threatened. Even if they were the most loyal of pirates.
What I don't understand is, why would he risk all-out war with the Concord? It would be easy to frame you for killing someone much less important. Why target the head of one of the city-states?
I mean, Knight, forgive me if I'm overstepping 3 earrings, and Ramon might have some information on this too, but I mean, I can see a reason. There's money in war. There's money in conflict.
The turtle gets it.
But I understand, but bringing the collection of the cities together, right? The Concord is a collection of cities all up and down the Menagerie Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you just hurt one of them. If you hurt one of them, they band together and attack. Right. So you're talking about drawing the full force of their military, and that would stifle piracy, not encourage it.
But it would redirect it towards the Plank King's enemies within the pirating realm. If 3 earrings truly was the threat that he perceived, by framing her for this murder, he ensured a life of imprisonment, therefore keeping her from helping any uprising against him. It's sort of like using his own enemy to clear his internal ones. That way he gets to look like, oh, I'm the Plank King, I'm so great, I still like you, while at the same time taking out internal threats.
Now, I understand the murder aspect of it. I just don't understand the choice of the target. I'm wondering if there's a more political angle, like another of the marquis is in league with the Plank King to undermine, remove a rival.
Now that is quite an idea, Knight. And here I thought I was the one that came up with convoluted ideas.
It's funny because that actually feeds into what I said about there being money in warfare. If there was a marquis that was on the take, they'd be in a good position to help launder money, get money.
Or perhaps...
Right, but they could not risk war, right? The war would have to diffuse. Otherwise, there's no benefit to the pirates. They're easily outgunned against full-scale military advance.
That's true.
So let's look at what we know, fellows. Let's put it all on the table. If there were another political faction of the Marquis working against the one here in Nicodranus, who would it be and why? Do we have enough information to make that kind of statement or hypothesis? What do we have to support it?
Well, that I do not know.
Harrison will look at Harriet. You have been actively working against the Plank King's intentions and help harboring victims of his chaos and destruction. Is there a pattern? Do you or your agents know perhaps where there might be more movement aligning with a political affiliation of some kind?
Well, I don't think the Plank King gets that deep. He's, from what I understand, and Three Earrings, you can back me up on this. You've been with the Revelry for a long time. The Plank King looks to embolden his army, embolden those within the Revelry by starting a war. Because what's the better time to recruit than when it's actively happening? You would be surprised at how many people on one side may as soon jump to the other side if they are swayed one of which ways.
So this was just a show of force. This was, look at me, I can take out a marquee and get away with it kind of a move.
Three Earrings will kind of look up. It's what he does. He's one to show off. He's a brute of a man and will do anything to keep his name on the tips of the tongue of the Clovis Concord. He wants to be a target because he wants people to talk about him and his forces. It makes recruitment far easier when people understand the goings-on of the Revelry instead of, oh, those pirates out in Darktow, what are they up to? Harming merchants on the Lucidian Ocean, how dare they? If there's more talk about what they're capable of, it might encourage others to join. And that's what he's attempting to do.
It's unfortunate that this man never just, took to the stage and got a cult following through performances of some kind.
Oh, he is a performer, but not of that kind.
Well, no, of course not. Well, if I see it, gentlemen, if I look at it from my perspective, we have an egomaniac running around the seas trying to take out whatever target will get him the most attention, the most praise, the most notoriety. We have sitting here with us 2 strong women, one who has been actively working against his plots to help those that he would harm, and the other who served as a real threat within his organization and as a one true shot at showing people a different way. Does that about sum it up for you?
Sounds right to me.
So what are we going to do about it?
I mean, we're not honestly sitting here thinking about like taking on the Plank King. The 7 of us and their whole army, are we? I mean, not you literally just said that was the worst idea we ever could have possibly had.
I don't think our plan should be to attack the pirates directly. That is the job of the government. I think our focus should be ensuring the continued safety of Three Earrings and her family. Now, that should be the focus of our plan. If relocation is not an option, then we must be more creative, I suppose.
You can't move that piano.
Sometimes casting light, on the subject, while we provided proof of her innocence, I'm not sure it is widely known, like publicly, to ensure Three Earrings' safety. Things like that.
I
Perhaps
appreciate
there's-
you. Oh, I'm
go for it.
so sorry, Harry. If you have
You're
something you
fine,
wish
you're
to say.
No, go for it. Speak for yourself. Speak openly. This is, really at the end of the day, we're a bunch of random people brought together by your lovely personality talking about your own life in front of you.
Well, that flatters me more than you know, dear wizard. Knight, I appreciate your interest in keeping me and my daughter here safe. My good friend Heidi there. I would like to think that I can take care of myself, but Exhibit A, the last several weeks, I obviously need help. And you 4 have proven yourselves more than capable of being able to do just that. And I can't thank you enough for that. On the other hand, there is a deep fire within me that is burning ever brighter. Nearly every day, it grows and finds more kindling around it. The only way to quench it is to take out Wyatt. Sorry, the Plank King. He...
DM, was that in character?
Yes. The only way that I can be safe, the only way that my daughter can be safe, now, after he's tried to frame me for murder, is not to run, but to go straight to the source and cut out the cancer. Roman, I understand this must be hard for you. Believe me. I've been right where you are.
DM.
Mm-hmm.
Would Roman know of any sort of dueling rituals or one-on-one combat kind of things for seats of power within Darktoe, or is it simply he's assassinated and whoever's next in line?
You would know that the current Plank King took the seat of power by killing the previous one. There was no ceremony or official battle that caused such a thing or led them to do such a thing. It was one man's desire for power that led him to forcibly take that seat.
If we were to go to Darktoe, we would have to fight our way all the way to the top.
So why don't we bring him here?
He'll never leave. He has no reason to leave Darktoe. Never.
But what if we gave him a reason? You say this is a man who cares about his reputation. You say that he acts as if to build up his ego and his armies through subversive activities, and yet here we are. You proven innocent, and an entire structure of people able to subvert his plans quietly. Why not leverage these tools?
Wait a minute, I just had an idea.
Yes,
Ramon,
Turtle.
Ramon, how much do you know about the Plank King? Like how well versed are you in who the Plank King is and like how he acts and all that?
I mean, I would assume quite a bit, GM. I don't think his mannerisms have probably changed too much in the last 5-10 years, so.
A fair amount.
Well, like Harry said, if all the Plank King cares about is his reputation, why don't we just pretend that you're the Plank King? Has anybody seen the Plank King outside of Darktoe? Or outside of Pirates?
I've never seen him.
You could just turn yourself in. Say that you're becoming a member of the Clovis Concord. Say you've turned over a new leaf. Everything that you've thought has changed.
But wouldn't they execute him?
No, I feel like you missed a key step of this plan, and it might just be because I'm hungover, but we would do this with their help.
Oh,
I feel like this is within everyone's.
I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a ruse, an elaborate ploy. And I feel like,
But
as far as looks, if anyone has seen the Plank King, that's something I might be able to help with.
how would we know that the government here is not the one, or we don't know that there's an alignment between any of the governments? I'm just throwing out the possibility that this could all blow up in our face if he does have influence here. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, but we do know some members of the Concord who seemingly aren't aligned and interested in true justice. Darkhall, for example. Granted, we did leave her back where we just came from, so again, this plan would take time. But I feel,
it does seem like the authorities. Well, I did find it kind of interesting that the authorities from Port Damali were handling an investigation of the murder of a citizen of Port Zune. So maybe that isn't the place to go.
You mistake that man's allegiances in where he lives and where he derives from. Port Damali was the closest location, and it was where he wanted us to meet. Not necessarily where we should have. I had some time to stare at this man and understand his intentions. The best that I could behind bars. this Danlin. Fucking halfling. He does not
What
hail
about
from
him?
Port Damali. He's a free agent. He does what he wills. He will be guided in a sort of direction and do what he wants. And it is not an allegiance to anywhere in particular, is what I'm trying to get at.
So what you mean is when we were picked up, rather, we were taken to Port Damali as that was the nearest location to where we were picked up, at the guidance of this Danlin, a third-party independent agent.
He chose the location, passed that on. That's where we went.
Pass that on to whom exactly? Do we have any understanding idea of this mysterious faction?
It's all very new to me. I understand the rivalry between the Clovis Concord and the Revelry, but outside of that, it's meeting with the occasional Crown's Guard, and it's about all I see. The fact that he doesn't come from anything in particular has me confused.
What you're saying is you kind of think that it might be under the service of the Plant King. Am I reading that right?
Not necessarily. Just an entirely separate entity that I am unaware of.
Great.
Well,
I will say this: he capitulated as soon as we provided evidence of innocence. So,
Did you see where he took off to?
pardon?
Did you see where he left to? Where his next destination was? Did he say anything? Did you follow a heading? Did you follow him?
He said he had leads in the Lucidian Ocean, if I recall correctly, and I typically do call correctly.
Big bastard.
I mean, the leads in the Lucidian Ocean. I mean, that's where Darktoe is, isn't it?
Correct. There's a lot in the Lucidian Ocean.
Right. So tomorrow morning, we all wake up. We all charter our own individual ships. I'll take northwest of the Lucidian Ocean. And,
Well, I wonder if we're not getting a little bit far out, fellows. And I hate to be the one to say it, because I do love a moral quandary. But what started this all in the first place? We were sent to retrieve an artifact that we've since turned over to the Cobalt Soul. But remember that there was this, maybe it's all unrelated, but maybe it isn't. There was a warlock there, a being, seemingly kowtowing to Kuatoa itself.
Ukatoa. Yes.
Listen, all I'm saying is what if it's all connected somehow? What if this oceanside entity, right, and its gathering of power is related to the Plank King's machinations, and this third entity is somehow acting as a, I don't want to say balancing force, because that's making a lot of assumptions, but there's clearly a power struggle here at play, right? And we're missing a piece. But I think we know more than we know. You know?
I definitely shouldn't have had all that alcohol yesterday.
Is that why you're so fumbly?
I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah. It's a little off.
Well, Avalon, see to it that this turtle is rehydrated and well fed.
I've had enough food, but water would be nice, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And Avalon will stand up and, get drinks for anyone that wants anything.
3 earrings. Does the name The Invisible Few mean anything to you?
I haven't heard that in a long time. But yes, it does.
Who are they? Well, I mean, not in the specific sense, but in general. Or specifically, if you know that too.
Right.
I would prefer specifics if you have them.
Yes. I just didn't think you would, but please.
Is that... Oh, that makes so much more sense now. She'll just kind of close her eyes and rub her temple. Of course. Fine. I don't know much, but what I do know, that the Invisible Few are neutral. They are not on either side of the main quandaries between the Revelry and the Clovis Concord and, the greater part of Wildemount. They're independent. If that sounds familiar, that's where the pieces are coming together here. It seems as if Danlin is a member of this troop.
Or at least working for them, but yes, could be.
Right. They are impartial in societal matters. They are typically brought in whatever capacity needed to help determine the truth. My gods, I can't believe I didn't see that any sooner. I just thought he was a horrible little man.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure you're right about that.
Pretty sure he is a
Yes.
horrible, horrible little man.
Yes. Oh, we all agree on that.
Well, I can tell you now, having made this connection, his intentions are not bad in any sense. He may have certain tactics that aren't agreed upon by many major factions, and he's a bit curt, but I can tell you that from any run-in that I may have had in the past, or any of my previous colleagues have made in the past with the Invisible Few, is that their word is right.
Well, the message I received back from my mentor kind of indicated that, but it was quickly drafted, so that all makes sense. So I don't believe, as much as we may dislike him, that Danlin is any part of our problem.
He may have been a problem before. Mostly situational, as you understand.
I mean, he's not in league with the Plank King.
Right, but
the least
I
bit.
feel maybe not. I just 3 earrings. This artifact that you hired us to procure. Remind me, why? You had buyers, correct? Someone to sell it to. Was it purely for finances, or perhaps something? And you'll pardon my language, a little more mutinous in why you wished to have this artifact.
Well, I can tell you that the original intention was to continue my loyalty to the Plank King. Any major artifact or bounty of treasure that is retrieved in any which way under the flag of the Revelry is to be brought back to Darktoe for sale, for trade, or congratulations and exposure to other crews within the Revelry to showcase your worth and your talent. Again, with the whole family thing.
So did he send you? Did he send you to find it? Or was this something that you determined to prove your worth?
After I found out about it directly from him, it became a mission of such a thing. I wanted to continue to prove my loyalty, that the tactics that I wished to employ were worthy of his time and consideration. Very clearly, that was not the case. Whatever happened to such a thing? What happened to that rod?
It was delivered to the archive at Cobalt Soul.
Pity, that could have bought me a new ship. I heard you speak to that archivist back in Port Tamale about some form of compensation.
Yes, I was busy. No one came to find you.
It's fine. If anything, you lot can back me up in the event that you're ever able to to prove that I am worthy of such a thing.
I mean, I have told them repeatedly, so I think you need only make yourself known to them.
Right. Thank you for that.
I don't know how much it would be, but the Cobalt Soul does buy artifacts. So, no reason they shouldn't.
Right. Oh, goodness. Harriet, it was... Harriet will just kind of stand up a little straighter and look back. Yes? Are you interested in taking down the Plank King? Directly at the source? That's what I'm interested in. 3 Earrings is kind of like sinking further and further into this couch. Becoming more and more comfortable. Harriet will kind of look around the room. It would make my job 10,000 times easier, so I would wager a big ol' hell yeah to that one. But we need resources. We need people. You all are obviously more than capable of holding your own, but if we're to plan anything to lure him here to go directly to Darktoe, we need a minute. We need some time. Not too long. We kind of have to act expeditiously, but we need to act quickly and get through this as soon as possible.
mean, agreed. They already attacked us once, so... Although, that one was sort of provoked, I suppose. Right, Roman?
Yes. Harriet, what would you have us do? Us specifically. I don't know if, I don't know what everybody else is thinking of doing. If this is where we part ways, or if a continuation of this group is in order. But I'm in this for the long haul. So what would you have us or me do?
Well, I see each of you as having extremely valuable tools at the ready.
Turley cast light on a berry.
That's very good, Turley. It's very dark in Darktoe. Oh, my gods. Roman, you know Darktoe very well. My sources tell me that it has not changed very much since you left. It's probably grown a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a lot. They kind of keep constructing things on top of one another. They're running out of room out there. But you know how to get around there. You know where the Plank King's chambers are. That is invaluable. Not everyone knows that. Harry, your magics are so needed. Not only here, but just in the world. I've heard of your talent. Word travels. I could find a source for you to learn more if you're looking for that kind of thing. You need that kind of thing, but we could set you up with the resources to really take this guy out. And Knight, you are so well versed in how the Menagerie Coast works, how everything is ingrained in one another. Your connection to the Cobalt Soul is invaluable. They have information in those libraries that, for the most part, is free to those who are interested in gaining that knowledge, but you actually being a dedicated monk there can get more information. You have training facilities. You have people who have been in situations where they can relay information to you and gain an upper hand. I see you as being at the forefront of this. Turley. From what I've heard from you, it's a great lightberry. I'm very impressed. You don't seem to be the kind of person that would willingly harm another. And with a band of people like these, and she'll even include the others in the room, they kind of need that support. If any of you are considering rushing head first into this, they're going to need some sort of buffer to make sure that they come out of it alive.
Listen, I'm not going to be the one to say that we're going, but I won't leave any of you stranded. I will help if that's what you guys are deciding.
I think it's been, I should hope, gentlemen, that I've been very clear about my abhorrence to violence. I believe through knowledge, through understanding, that's where true power lies. I feel. He looks apologetically at Three Earrings. While there are many emotions that I cannot understand at play here, and justifications that are beyond me, I wonder if perhaps we might leverage a different skill set rather than an all-out siege, but that is our only course. I will try to use my intellect and creativity to assist in a noble cause. I hesitate. Only in that I believe there is a better way, even if it doesn't seem clear now.
I'm inclined to agree with Harry here to an extent. But I admit my interactions with pirates have been limited to those in this room, in fact, and the ones who tried to kill us. So, if you think there is nowhere you will be safe by running and hiding, then I don't see there's any alternative than to stop the person who is... Just quiet there, you dog. To stop the person who would be chasing you.
I mean, if all of you are not truly in it, not as invested as I am, I understand. If you feel as if this is something that you're not compelled to do, I'm not going to force you to do it. But you must know that I will be acquiring a force, and I will be taking him head on, regardless of who is there to protect me, to assist me, to be at my side, and take this man down.
I will stay with you until I know you're safe. Whatever that is, wherever it takes us. I was just trying to present other options.
I understand.
I mean, I've been thinking about it. If we could polymorph someone into the Plank King and start a running sort of sideshow, we could travel along the coasts, giving sort of seminars on why his current course of action is incorrect, and hopefully draw in crowds. You know, the Plank King's personal memoirs or something, you know, like that. And if we could charge money for tickets that could help support the revolution at hand. And Three Earrings, we could probably get you in front of several crowds to speak on, you know, the lack of leadership fortitude. I'm trying to find a nice way to say it. but we could have you speak to it, right? Because if it's all about recruitment, if we can give a better idea of what the Plank King actually offers, and I was thinking we could probably find pamphlets of some kind. But we could figure out a way to an airship of some kind to drop them on cities below, just a full-blown marketing campaign to really hit them where it hurts. We could come up with some catchy slogans like the Plank King, Ignoramus. Well, I'd need time with that one. But do you understand what I'm saying? We could really just go all out here, and that would require little to no interactions with him directly, just purely but that would take time, and it seems that you probably aren't interested in taking too much time.
I would say that I'm more concerned that my time is growing short the longer that he remains in power. If anything, not just for myself, but those still willingly following his ranks. Again, I am solely motivated by this. I don't need to sit here and convince you that this is the right thing to do or that you owe me anything. Harriet, you seem motivated by this, if anything, for your own profession and the assistance that you provide to those leaving the Revelry and seeking shelter away from such a thing. So I find an ally in you easily. I see an ally in all of you, but I'm not here to argue on your behalf and to convince you otherwise. I'm just here to let you know of my intention. If you wish to join me, we'll be sailing in a week.
Yes, that means we got some thinking to do, huh?
You have time. If you wish to join, we'll be where... Avalon, you know this city better than I do. Near the Opal Archways, we'll have something there. Mother will have a ship for you. It's fine. They kind of mutter to one another, and Harriet turns to you all. Okay, well, a week. Near the Opal Archways. Can and will do. I will assemble my own forces. I have many people in this matter that are also interested in just cutting out the weed. If you wish to join, it's no skin off my back. Roman, I would say you owe me, but you've done enough. It's up to you all. If you wish to return to your lives and continue on, it's up to you. We'll be here in a week. If we see you, great. If we don't, enjoy your time on the coast. And Harriet will exit the apartment, kind of in a scuff.
Harry's gonna be really quiet. He's lost in thought, kind of calculating in his mind, eyes flashing around the room, sometimes nodding, sometimes shaking his head. And he'll kind of reach into a pouch and pull out a letter that he had received. And he's rubbing it between his fingers thoughtfully and kind of tapping it on his palm. Not really, just very uncertain.
Turley is currently staring at the remaining little basket of berries he's got, and is also lost in thought. He's not going to be the one to make this decision, but as he said before, if people are deciding to do this, he will go along and help. He doesn't quite know where he is in his life right now, so he's just lost and looking for someone to follow.
What are Roman and Knight up to at this point? Three Earrings and Avalon are kind of chatting amongst themselves, and Heidi seems to be like falling in and out of consciousness over like a roast of turkey.
I can't ask any of you to do this. You've already done so much for the cause. I do appreciate everything from all three of you. I know I haven't made this partnership very easy.
I meant what I said. I promised to make sure she was safe, and if that takes us into harm's way, then so be it. But I'm in.
Yeah, I don't recall ever saying that I was sticking around until you asked me. I said I was sticking around until you made a decision. So I'm in if you're going, and if not, then well, Three Earrings needs protected, so I'd probably just stick around here and watch over them for a little bit.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, but while I talk fast, I often think slow. And this feels like I'm struggling, fellas. Though I wish to help the cause and I wish to help Three Earrings, I don't know if you see, when I set out many years ago, I intended to be the greatest wizard in the world. I intended to adventure and take the world by force and make something of it. And while there was a setback and I found myself in my occupation, I found meaning in it. And in the simplicity of education and knowledge and teaching those who could go and do. And this now here, I just don't know. I still feel strongly that I'd be best suited to help, not in violence or a siege, but rather in empowering people to think differently, to see the situation for what it is and not what others would have you believe.
Can I give you a counter argument for a second there, Harry?
Of course, Turley.
If we do overthrow the Plank King, who takes over?
That is a question that we should consider. My hope
that
would be that Three Earrings would rise to the occasion and that those would follow her. Or she seems like she's got a good head.
And all of those things that you were just saying you wanted to come out of this are things that would happen if Three Earrings were to take over.
True. But we are talking about overthrowing a tyrant.
You were talking about
Big
becoming
time.
the greatest wizard in the world. You can't do that from a library or a bedroom, can you?
No, you can't. But that's kind of the point, Turley.
So
What
you're
if
giving
I
up?
can help someone else reach those heights? It's not giving up so much as redirecting.
That sounds like you're giving up on yourself and deciding that you're not the one to do it, and it's probably somebody else that should be taking the credit instead of you.
You make it sound like it's a bad thing. I'd see no shame in it.
You will at some point.
Not if the future generations carry the weight that they must. And if I can help them reach that, that's all that matters. Personal glory holds little reward for me anymore.
I said my piece.
Harrison, there's nothing about the situation that mandates you be there. You have a life you can get into.
True.
And at the time frame, the slightly overwhelming. I wouldn't blame you.
Gentlemen, allow me this then. If we have a week, I count me amongst you for that time while I consider my options and what I truly bring to the table. Because again, while I do understand the need for magics in this situation and what I might leverage, I just can't shake the feeling that I might be helpful elsewhere. Give me a week. Give me that time to consider. And I will have an answer as soon as I can. And he'll turn to Avalon and Three Earrings, who are sitting there. I seem to recall there was talk of music that might be played when next we were all together, Miss Avalon.
Oh, you are so keen to remember. But, yes, Mother, we've spoken of this. If you're not too tired, I have a piece that I would like to perform for you, for all of you, if you would like to hear it. Is that okay?
Be delighted.
Wonderful. Just a moment. And she'll rush upstairs to go get ready. That daughter of mine. I would do anything for her. Anything. Will continue to do anything for her. I'm gonna kill that man. Until then, I need rest. She'll kind of lounge out on the couch, kicking her feet up. And apparently a show. Avalon, dear. We're ready whenever you are. And she'll come back downstairs and seat herself at the grand piano in the middle of the room. You'll see that she grabbed sheet music that was upstairs and is hastily spreading it before her and making sure it's all shipshape and ready to go. And I'm getting music. It didn't work. Do. And she will sit there and kind of stretch her fingers a little bit and begin playing. a soft melody at first. Just kind of twinkling the keys as if gaining familiarity with an old friend. And it will quicken in pace and bring a bit more life to the song. Lilting tunes, deeper baritones to harmonize. And as she's playing, she'll pretend that she's looking at the sheet music. But in reality, she's just looking straight at her mother. This tune ingrained in her. And Three Earrings, who was jokingly lounging on the sofa, is sitting up straight, looking directly at her daughter. As if this was the first recital that she's ever had. Pride beaming from every part of her face, her stature. It is a moment between them that they have been writing to each other about for months, for years. And it's finally happened. Avalon, the dutiful student of the instrument, having written a song directly for her mother, finally being able to tell her exactly how she feels in song. That's where we're going to take our first break.
Very nice.
Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back. Hello, everyone. Thank you for waiting. I had to shovel a corn dog into my face. That sounds disgusting. Anyway, hi. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate it. Last we left off, our fine friends here were in a bit of a moral quandary as to whether or not they should give their full support into attempting to overthrow the Plank King. Some are for it. Some are like, I'm here for friendship. And that's where we're gonna pick back up at. Essentially what we're gonna do is montage through the next week. I'll say, just for the sake of brevity here, if you want to pick 2 or 3 things that you think your character would be doing to prepare for such a thing, whether that's going shopping and looking for like new armor, or Harrison maybe looking for some spells that he can acquire, kind of thing. Whatever you guys think is the best course of action, just start firing away, and we'll get through this week faster than you can say three earrings. Anyway, hi.
Let's get Turley out of the way then. So
Sick.
like, Turley's pretty set as far as like what he has and what he might need.
Okay.
I mean, he's a traveler. Like this is what he does. So him leaving and going somewhere else is not anything he really needs to prepare for. He's kind of ready to go at any given moment. So most of his time would be spent waiting for everyone else to make their decision.
Okay.
And given that kind of crisis moment he had before, where like his friends almost fell in combat and he almost couldn't, like he was almost completely spent, like he seriously has been questioning whether or not that particular style of adventuring and traveling is for him or not, whether he can do it. So there'd be a lot of time spent just sitting on benches, staring out, looking at people passing by, like the quiet, contemplative, journaling traveler in a foreign city kind of thing.
Cool. I dig it. Thank you very much for that, dearest Turley. Whoever would like to go next, my ears are ready for you. You need some more time? This is fine.
All right.
I kind of just sprung this on you.
Knight would spend a lot of time at the archive, studying on reading as much as he could about the current the recent state of affairs on the Menagerie Coast, and anything he could find about the current Plank King, to see, what if there were documents of interactions or battles, if there were any, or tactics, or political ties, or anything like that. As much as he could get access to, kind of a know thy enemy sort of preparation.
I can get down with that. Okay. I would like for you, because this is going to take over the course of a week, to roll 2 history checks for me.
Okay.
Cool. Oh shit.
And,
shit.
Did that one show up? Oh, that was a
oh
1.
no.
Yeah. So, yeah, 18 and a 1.
Okay, very good. So with the 18, you would have been able to do a fair bit of reading about the current state of affairs regarding Clovis Concord, the Revelry, kind of just documenting what's been going on as far as just how's it hanging out in the city and ocean kind of a thing. You would see that a lot of the documentation regarding current sightings and recent events all seem to be penned by a very, very lightly scripted name. With an 18, you would probably be able to ask a monk about it, like, hey, who's been doing this? It was Avalon. She's been providing that information to the Cobalt Soul, which would then lead you back to her, and she could confirm a lot of this information about, where the revelry, I can't say that for my life, where they like to do most of their work, where they like to recruit the most. Nicodranus is a big place for them to bring in new people. They also do it kind of forcibly too. So they'll take over a merchant ship for their wares to be brought back to Darktow, and it might sway some people there then and there, but they might convince people otherwise that, hey, this is the route that you need to go. You don't have a life anymore. It all belongs to the Plank King. As far as the information about the Plank King himself, he is a mystery to the Cobalt Soul. They know him by name. His first name is Wyatt. That's the most that they know. In regards to him as a person, accounts of those that have been able to escape from his clutches, whether interpersonal or direct, mark him down as a very large man with an intimidating presence. Very, very large man. And that's the most that they've been able to document. Yeah, that's pretty much what you're able to surmise in your research at the library. Was there anything else that you wanted to do, or pass it on over to Ramon and come back?
Just staying in tip-top shape and studying up.
Sick.
Yeah,
Cool training montage of Knight doing some like morning runs around the city and stuff, like very Rocky style. I love it. It's very good.
21 paw push-ups.
Absolutely.
Lots of those.
Several. Hey Ramon, what are you doing to prep?
Yeah, Ramon, knowing that this is probably going to be a ship versus ship combat, taking people out from decks and having to hide and blah, blah, blah. He's just gonna go to work. He's gonna distances. He knows he's already in, right? He's gonna go and do what he can to help. But he is going to go to work and continue researching and tinkering and trying to. He got one step further with the most recent weapon that he was able to create, but it's still not quite what he was looking for. So he's going to dive into the books now that he has a little bit more time to just kind of sit down and spend time with that one book that he found, or the couple of books that he found. He's going to join Knight at the Cobalt Soul and research weapons that can be used at great distances.
Okay.
And how to create them.
Okay. I'm thinking this is kind of also a history thing, but I'm gonna look something up super fast. Hang tight.
Actively hanging.
Actively clutching. Oh no.
He's gonna do this for the whole week, and if he can actually create this thing.
Okay.
But when he's not actively doing that, it's pretty much waking hours and then 4 hours a day he will go into his meditative trance. And his typical trance of reliving the death of his family and saving them, preventing their deaths in a kind of simulation-esque way. He's instead replaced that with what he imagines the coming battle to be like. And he wakes up out of this trance every day, and every day he's just a little more startled,
Okay.
just a little out of it. So frantic and trying to prepare himself as best as he can.
Okay. For the research that you're attempting to do about these weapons, I would like for you to make, because this is a week-long thing, 2 history checks and 2 sleight of hand checks.
Ooh. Sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Could I convince you to do tinker's tools or thieves' tools?
Oh,
instead?
absolutely. Yeah, whatever
Oh.
preference tool that you have, that's kind of what I was going with that.
Okay, which would you say it would be tinker's tools then? Is what you're
Yep.
looking for? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, history. There's the first one. There's the second. How
Cool,
close?
cool.
I mean, not terrible. Tinker's tools. Oh, that's really rough. That's really rough.
Okay. So, with your history checks, I would say that you're able to derive quite a bit of good information regarding the current weapons that you already have, especially the one with the new scope that you have, as well as your familiarity with ship cannons. This would be more research in terms of the kind of ammunition that you would be able to use for these kind of weapons. You're already very familiar with typical bullets for your guns, and typical cannonballs for the cannons for the ships. But you're able to find certain research into like exploding ammo and infusing ammunition with different elements, whether that be like earth elemental kind of thing, like fire, water, air kind of thing, lightning kind of damage, or even so far as to do poison damage from super far away. As far as like cannons go, it would be more something that would detonate after a certain amount of time, so kind of a delayed shot reaction within the cannonball, or a chain shot that splits off into multiple chains, kind of like buckshot, but it explodes even further out in the distance. So you're able to research a lot of this stuff. It's just when you come to the point in the week where you go to try and craft some of this, you have a bit of a hard time and require a bit of help, whether that's from your friends around you willing to lend a hand, or reaching out to those on the southern side of Nicodranus, who might have a bit more experience with this kind of thing. I'm trying to figure out how you can actually add this kind of stuff into your inventory. Give me a hot second to figure that one out, but you're gonna have some new stuff for your weapon in particular, and then to embolden whatever ship you guys end up having. Gonna write that down. Cool ammo with a smiley face with sunglasses. That's what I'm writing. Sick. All right, hey Harry.
Hello.
How's it going? Talk to me. What are you doing?
Harrison Gandazar, reporting for duty. Harry would, spending this week, I think, and being true to his word with what he said to his party, a little bit like Turley, he's going to spend some time thinking, but he's also going to spend some time building out his repertoire, I guess. He would sit down and write a few letters of correspondence definitely sending one home. And he'd also try to go to the shops to find some additional spells for him to have at his disposal. Most of his current arsenal is teaching spells. They're, like reduce and enlarge and purely for theory of magic, not necessarily application thereof. So if weighing the options of continuing on, he would want to see if he couldn't find a couple of spells that would help him be more efficient in the field.
Okay. Your search wouldn't take very long to find a sort of store, a shop that would have the materials that you need in order to have the kind of spells that you're looking for. You would find several arcane-focused shops. Some that are more at like the basic level. They like, I have shocking grasp here, burning hands, like trying to peddle their wares on those who may not be spellcasters and are entirely tempted by just a small fleet of an ice storm or a mage hand, when in reality you're looking for something that's way better. In your travels, you'll see these shops that have the smaller wares, and you'll inquire for something bigger and better, and they'll bring you basically into an arcana speakeasy where there's even better, more powerful spells kind of hidden in the back. So give me just a moment and I will have several cool spells that are going to be available to you.
Sick.
Sweet. If you guys have any, conversations that you want to have with one another throughout this week, now is the time to do so.
Turley, how are you feeling? Tell me all settled. Can I get you any lettuce?
No, I'm feeling fine. I'm just a lot on my mind with everything that's coming up. That's all.
Yes, I can understand. I feel like this is maybe a different speed than you're accustomed to.
Is that a joke, Harry?
I would never.
I'm pretty sure you would, but I'm gonna let it slide. I mean, yes. No, kind of. I don't know.
I'm getting conflicting messages, Turley.
If you're asking if I've ever been on an excursion by sea to attack the head of a pirate organization that has had its hold over a region of water for as long as anyone alive can really remember, yeah, this is a different speed than I'm used to, Harry.
I find myself in a similar boat, my friend. Tell me, how are you feeling about it all?
Harry, you've got to stop with the puns. You've got to stop with it. I can't.
But puns. I can't. I'm not sure what you're on about. But maybe I'm a little, slow on the uptake.
All right, so you here's where I'm at, Harry, and you can take this for whatever it's worth. I'm not doing anything else, and there's no real purpose to my life right now besides what we're working on, and so I can really only see a couple different options given the circumstances. One, I do my best to keep you alive as long as I can. Well, the group alive, maybe not you.
I mean, to be fair, no, Turley. To be fair, I feel like you really have had to put the extra work in to keep myself alive. There were a couple of close calls.
Trust me, they haven't left my mind since then, so I remember. But yeah, I either kind of keep my hat in the ring that it's currently in, and if y'all decide that you're going to do this, then I don't see any reason why I shouldn't or couldn't come and help you guys out, at least as long as I could still stand. Other than that, just like Ramon, I want 3 earrings in Avalon and everyone to be safe and happy, so either way, I'm looking after their interests right now.
You said something that struck me as odd there, Turley. You see, I'm somewhat familiar with the people of your domain, and you mentioned lack of purpose. Is it not to... I'm sorry, I hate... no, actually, I do like prying. I like learning. I like knowing all the secrets of the universe. So I won't apologize, but I am curious. You have no purpose, and yet... Help me understand, you're a cleric, Turley.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've studied things about healing, and I don't know. It's more it's a weird thing. It's like a lot of times when people say that they felt a calling, and they gave into it and they pursued it. They say that they felt like their life was finally complete, like things had finally clicked into place. I've never really felt that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love everything about what I do and who's still around because I've helped them. It's fulfilling for sure, but how to apply that, I have no idea. Also, you said of my domain, I'm not quite like others of my domain. I'm a little more selfish, is I guess the word.
I don't think that's Turley. I think you've been rather giving. As someone who's benefited from your talents and your company, I think you might be the least selfish among us.
I guess I'm more meant just pursuing my own goals as opposed to following others.
Well, understood.
Are you gonna go?
Well, I intend to see this to some end, but I think longer term, I think, I don't know. I set out on a vacation, a sabbatical, and I find myself, I'll tell you, I find myself a bit homesick. But,
Yeah.
I can't readily go back to my ward and say that I didn't do everything that I could. So if whatever this is, I intend to see it through to a reasonable end. How's that?
It sounds like you're coming.
Well, yeah. I think that about sums it up. Lenny will be very upset when I break the news. How much do you weigh, Turley?
Why?
It's just I had the inklings of a plan, but given your recent condition, I'd wondered if maybe you had lost some weight when you lost some of your appetite.
515 pounds.
Well, it was worth asking. Thank you, Turley. He'll tap his hand on his shoulder and pull out a small notebook, and you'll see him crossing off lines under the plan. He'll close his book, put it back in his pocket.
Hey, thank you for noticing that I lost weight. It was 7 pounds, but
I shall keep track. Thank you. What's today again? I had forgotten. Thursday. Down 7 pounds. All right. Got it. Thank you, sir.
That was lovely. Both Roman and Harry now have some information about the kind of stuff that they were able to make or can get. So they're pretty well in set. Hey, that kind of rhymed. Did you guys have anything else that you wish to do at this time? Anyone like interested to see what Three Earrings and her daughter and Harriet coming in and out would be trying to do is Avalon would be reaching out to all of her contacts in the city trying to procure a ship. Harriet would assist her with that, and eventually towards the end of the week they would get a ship. It's much smaller than the Wave Chaser, but it would fit you guys totally fine. 3 of them if they all wanted to come, and maybe a few other people to help around like deckhands and stuff. Yeah, that's as far as what they've been able to do. Anyone else doing anything?
So I'm gonna DM you, GM.
Sick.
So give me just a second.
Absolutely.
I'm nervous.
I'm excited. What are you talking about?
Yo ho ho.
While the DM is happening, I would be Turley would actually go to the docks and figure out which ship they're preparing for us, and would just kind of observe. Would not really talk to many people. Probably sit on the dock like on a bench or something.
Romano's just going to really keep to himself. He's fervently in his notes and crafting and creating, and he has a deadline, so he has to do as much as he possibly can.
Along that same lines, Harrison would, on the day that he went out to procure spells, he would have returned to their lodgings, kind of doing that thing where he like opens the door with like his elbow and then remembers he has mage hand and has the mage hand like open the door for him, and he comes in with like a bunch of scrolls in his arms and walks past. No time to talk, only time for studying, and would go straight up to his room and kind of slam the door, where he would disappear for a long stretch of time, just occasionally sending Pliny down for snacks, and as he transcribed into his spellbook.
Very good. And it wasn't previously stated, but if you guys wanted to stay with Avalon while you guys were preparing and stuff, that's where Three Earrings was going to be staying. Obviously, you have potential lodgings back at the Laughing Ghost, or really anywhere that you want to try and have a place to stay. But Avalon opened her home to you guys in the event that you wanted to stay there. Not like that's a huge big deal, but just let you know that she likes you guys. Okay, if we don't have anything else that you wanted to do, here, Sarah, I have a quick DM for you very quick. Screw it, I'll just say it.
Yep.
All of those spells, you could copy 5 of them within this week.
Okay.
Anything else would have to be done en route, but you could still get it done. I don't know why.
Okay, I will select 5, and then we can manage narratively from there.
Sick. Okay, cool. So yeah, at the end of the week, everyone's kind of excited getting their stuff together. The materials are well underway of being developed for ammunition, and Harry's got spells. Knight is armed with knowledge. Turley's had a bit of self-reflection. And Three Earrings has a ship again. Harriet and Avalon have secured we'll call it like a Oh my god, what's the middle ship in Sea of Thieves? A brig? A brigantine? Yeah.
Brigandine.
Cool. Yes, thank you. That's essentially what they have. It's not very spacious, but it's gonna get the job done. And it doesn't have a name. So Three Earrings comes to you all and asks for your help to name the ship.
How about the SS gonna sink?
Oh,
But-
Turley.
Vindicator.
Vindicator. Knight, are you sure you weren't meant for piracy?
I don't think so.
He doesn't like to get wet.
I understand that. It's the fur, it gets matted. It's uncomfortable. It's worth it.
Yes.
I like that. Does anyone else have anything they want to throw out to the wind? That one's in a strong first place.
I mean, that's a pretty good one. If I given some time, I could, have some rough drafts. I feel like maybe the Vindicator's not descriptive enough.
Harry
Can we
doesn't
maybe
have
add
any
some
suggestions.
adjectives?
Harry doesn't have any suggestions.
What about the Balma Flora? It's where we started.
It's where it all began, yes.
Better than my suggestion of Barnacle.
See, you would be surprised at how many people go for the jokey names, and it actually sticks and it fits with the personality of the ship. So maybe it is a barnacle, but Palma Flora is very nice as well. Very thoughtful of you, Roman.
What about the Vindication of Palma Flora?
The full title.
Rather heard the paint on the side of the boat, though.
Not with a steady hand and an ounce of creativity?
Probably a couple mirrors.
If it's done right, yes, Turley, now that you mention it. And everything is worth doing right the first time.
Right. Indication of Palma Flora. I could do that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Avalon, will you see that the name is painted on the side? Even if it's just a shortened version of it, then we'll know the true name. Yes, mother, I will. Of course. She'll hastily write a letter and kind of run outside looking for a courier to take it off to the shipyard. It's not long after that you all have decided on the name and gathered your materials that you make your way down to the docks and you see the ship for the first time. It's not really anything to write home about, save for the fresh paint on the side that says, "The Vindication of Balma Flora." On the very back of the ship. You see Three Earrings kind of hold herself up a little bit higher, walk up the gangplank and... Yes, this will do. This is... She'll just kind of tap the side of the ship. This is a fine vessel.
Seems all right, though it could use some modifications. But when in due time, of course. Start small, grow big.
Of
that
course.
kind of thing.
We've got what we need. We've got captain quarters. We've got, the galley down below. Several cannons up top, ready to go in the event that we need them. Heavens be.
Harry, that sounded like you're planning on sticking around.
Well, maybe as an advisory, sort of. position?
Can
so to
always
speak?
use brains in this sort of operation, even from afar.
Turley nods to himself and walks away from Harry.
Bit odd, but right.
You guys are essentially ready to go. They've procured several deckhands that are able to come help out. So far, the crew looks like you four, 3 earrings, Harriet, and in the day or so that the ship is being prepared, Avalon keeps finding herself moving back and forth between the apartment and the ship, the apartment and the ship. And she's not sure whether or not she wants to come, if she's needed. She's a little scared. She'll like kind of shaky leg walk up the gangplank and find herself holding steadily onto the railing along the side. Well, I would like to support you from afar. Being out in open water terrifies me a bit. But if you need anything, send me a message in any way possible, and I will help track things for you all.
Sounds good. We appreciate the help.
Absolutely. You'll give her mother a big hug. Give her a slip of paper as they break their embrace, and she'll walk on down, kind of waving at you all. I'll hear of your travels from afar. Very far. Water. It's scary. She'll just head back to her apartment. Now you guys are ready for seafaring travel. Let's see, how we gonna do this? It's gonna take some time to get out to Darktow. The time that it takes to get from Nicodranus to Port Damali is nothing in comparison for going out into actual open water and navigating your way to an island that only the pirates know how to get to. So the navigator of the crew will rely heavily on your knowledge, Roman. I'm not going to do any fun random encounters every day for the sake of expediency with this, but I think I will have each of you make some sort of a traveling role in whatever capacity that you think your character can assist with the best. The suggestion for Roman for navigating to Darktow is just one option. You can pick something else if you'd like. Anything that you guys think that you can contribute to this travel. Probably going to take like a solid week and a half, 2 weeks to get out there.
Probably a history check for remembering exactly how to get there and navigating the reef that protects Darktow.
I would say either that or even a nature check, being familiar with the seas, recognizing constellations and being able to use that to navigate your way through, but really whatever you think works best, I'm okay with.
I'll throw my hat in with this.
Absolutely.
Because Harrison studied geography extensively. Also, I have the feet keen mind. I always know which way is north. The number of hours left before next sunrise or sunset, and can accurately recall anything I've seen or heard within the past month. So if I can assist with that nature check of like charting the course just to kind of help with that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Understanding that there is coral reefs in several areas, you want to be careful of the migratory patterns of certain creatures that then might, overwhelm the ship if possible.
That's very good. Okay. What are Turley and Knight going to contribute to this travel?
Um,
It can be anything, like singing songs for the crew or making dinner to make sure that people stave off scurvy. Not like you can really get that in 2 weeks, but maybe. Who knows? I'm not a
I think
doctor.
Knight has established he likes helping out in the rigging, so he'll just help the crew and with sailing the ship.
Okay. And Turley.
Yeah, every morning, Turley would stand on the deck, and once the crew starts like making their shift for the day crew to take over, he would ritual cast motivational speech.
Amazing. Yes.
For everyone. He would also be standing within earshot of Ramon trying to navigate. And whenever there came a question, if Ramon was questioning it or like wasn't quite sure, Turley would come over and like kind of join the conversation, but not start talking, and would subtly like cast guidance on him.
Cool. This is very good. All right, so for Roman and Harry, for taking care of this navigation, it could be a nature check or a history check for you, Roman, whichever you feel the most comfortable with. For Harry, if you wanted to do nature, that's totally fine. If you wanted to do... What would be like a good like recollection kind of thing? Like, I'm assuming that you would have been able to see a map at some point and Ramon would be like, hey, yeah, right here, that's Dark Tove, that's where that's gonna be, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Harry did see the charts and maps that Avalon had when she was charting her mother's like stuff, so Harry saw those. I mean, I could see history, I could see nature as well, because again, Harrison's kind of like, think very like David Attenborough.
Yeah.
And like he's like studied like the from an educational standpoint, right? He studied like the creatures of like not Eberron. Oh my goodness. And he studied the creatures, and he's done the thing because he's an educator, right? Yeah. So I could see nature or history.
Okay.
Whatever.
Whichever
you tell
one,
me, man.
Honestly, whichever one you would prefer. For you, Knight, with you doing the rigging, I think it would just be like a straight dex check, unless you wanted to do like cool acrobatic shit. That's okay too. Yes, very, very deft, cool pulling rigging and stuff. I love this very much. Turley, if you just want to like roll the guidance roll for Roman, you can do that.
Sure.
Also, is there anything else that you would have to like add on with motivational speech? What does that do?
I don't know why. Yeah, you get 2 for your guidance.
Damn, y'all.
So yeah, for motivational speech, it's more narrative than anything.
I love it.
Everybody gets 5 temporary hit points and advantage on wisdom saving throws for an hour.
Okay.
And if anybody gets attacked, they have advantage on their next attack roll.
Cool. I like this very much. Sweet. Yeah. So Harrison here got 15 on their nature check, which I think is more than sufficient in being able to help out. And you know those cloud patterns, that's indicating a southeasterly wind, which is not very typical for this area. Just cool Harrison shit.
The constellations, right? You see this? So given the time of year, we have these different creatures migrating south, so we can use them to chart in the night to make sure that we're not, going out astray, because they usually use the currents, the undercurrents of the ocean to help conserve energy, right? So if we can follow them using the wind, I think it might be keen. And Roman's just like, or we could just literally drive the boat the way that you're supposed to drive a boat.
The navigator still takes it to heart. Cool. Ramon got a 21 on their history check, which was also with an additional 2 for guidance. So you got a total of 23 for your history check. That's rad as hell. You know exactly where Dark Toe is. You charted in and out of that island countless times. So the random rock formations along the coast, the sunken ships along the way, you know, the pods of orcas going back towards where they hang out, specifically in the ocean. It's telling you in a very familiar way how to get back home. So the navigator is extremely reliant on this information and very grateful for it, and it has shaved off a bit of time in order to get there. And Knight, with your assistance with the rigging, you're able to essentially teach these deckhands a thing or two in your limited experience with sailing around. They seem pretty green as well, but they take your swift nature of assisting with you know, all of the ins and outs of the rigging on this ship, as this is how we need to do it too. And you've got like a team of little ninjas following you around now that like do cool flips and shit because they wanted to like impress you and stuff. So they're
Cool flips and shit. Hell yeah.
Yep.
they're doing their jobs exceedingly well and in the coolest fashion possible. So hell yes, this is great.
All right. Very good.
So it does take you guys about a week and a half to get from Nicodranus to Dark Toe. You'll see several merchant ships along the way. You'll pass smaller islands with those merchant ships coming in and out of their ports. Is there anything in particular you guys wanted to do during your travel there?
Harrison would be practicing his new spells off the side of the ship. Kind of making sure that he had the incantations and hands gestures correct, often muttering at Pliny, no, that's not how that's pronounced, and casting the spell wrong, and it kind of watching the magic warble and like fade away and be like, fine, you're right, but I don't want to hear it. Let's try it again. And just practicing his spells.
During that time, watching Harry do this with Pliny, with the intention of making the process less frustrating for Harry, he would cast Calm Emotions.
Oh.
However, the true intent of this is that it's a 20-foot sphere, and he's actually trying to cast Calm Emotions on Pliny.
So cute.
Is Pliny pacified?
Can you drop the deets in the chat?
I would love.
I think I can narratively tell you what Pliny does.
I think that's it. Yeah, does that do it? Yep.
I'm sorry, this first sentence, you attempt to suppress strong emotions. Pliny has a lot of emotions.
It does look
Probably
like
not.
it's
It's a
targeting
humanoid.
specifically humanoids, but
No,
I don't
narratively,
give a
we're
shit.
going
This
for
is
it.
great. Hell
No,
yeah.
Narratively, we're going for it. Here, 1 second. Let me have Pliny make a charisma saving throw. It's a -2. All right. So suppress any effect causing the termed or frightened. Okay. Yeah. So as you do this, you kind of watch Harrison sigh and kind of roll out his shoulders. You know, clearly a little more calm, and goes, "All right, just focus and breathe. Remember the basics." And he will center. You'll actually see Pliny's little like shoulders will kind of hunch up around his ears, and then he'll shake out and kind of stretch his little claw feet, and kind of shuffle from side to side. And you'll kind of see him start to watch the spells with a little more interest. And the bird will seem infinitely more relaxed because the bird's generally like this, like kind of all scrunched up and scowly. He'll stretch out a little bit, like he's more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
I have no other nefarious goal other than calming Pliny down and giving Pliny a nice journey.
Yeah, Pliny will seem to relax a titch.
Mm-hmm.
This is very good. Would anybody be checking in with either Harriet or Three Earrings?
Oh, for sure, but
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like small ship. We're all gonna be within close quarters of each other, so Charlie would too.
Right. You would be surprised at the lack of presence that Three Hearings has on this ship, at least in the first week or so. She's essentially locked herself into her captain's quarters, which is a glorified broom closet, but like just enough space for a hammock to hang. There's a small desk with like a small ass little drawer, enough space for like a footlocker underneath the hammock. That's it. But away she stays locked in it regardless. Anyone that does pay attention does notice that she has like a little window that hinges out the back of the captain's quarters. And it has a particularly squeaky hinge, and you hear it pretty frequently throughout the day. And anytime you do hear that, anyone who looks down towards this window will see a seagull, and then like other ocean-faring birds, mostly seagulls, coming and perching just on the outside of the window. And taking off with a small piece of paper tied around their feet. It seems as if she is corresponding with haste. And Harry's mostly chilling. She does not like being on ships, so she is doing her best to not look at the water. Which is hard to do on a ship. You get seasick. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I just sorry. That was me taking a gander of my spells, being like, how could I?
You good. You good.
No, same for Charlie.
Assist with this.
It's okay. I threw planning at invading a pirate island at you in the last like hour and a half. So you good? You good?
Yeah. I actually do have a plan for this.
Sick.
How long does this last? Stand by. Let's see. Only 10 minutes. So it wouldn't work.
I mean, how long would Lesser Restoration last against seasickness?
I mean, for her, I would say it's a fairly frequent thing, but the more that you do it, the more she becomes immune to the actual sickness, so it's more of the frequency and not the length of time.
As the trip goes on, and it looks like it's going to be safer, and before we get close, so in the middle, Turley would burn spell slots to help her.
Dope.
Harrison would also conjure up a little throw-up bag to have next to her hammock at night. That's a little bit nicer than your average bucket. You know what I mean? Like it's just got like little. No, this is exactly what it would look like. It'd be like those hospital bags with the ring around with the bag that you can kind of like twist off. But on the bag, it would be little like cartoon faces of Harriet with like little thermometers in her mouth and like looking sick. You know what I mean? Like placing on the bag. And he would make that just kind of renew that, and each time he did that, the little faces would change To sometimes be like, yeah, little get well soons on it.
That's so cute.
No.
I think at first she would just be really grateful for the bag and like not pay attention to it, but with the frequency, the amount of times that you're giving her this bag, she's like paying more attention to it. And oh, it's a really good joke there, wizard. That's a fucking good joke. And then as she gets better, it's, hey, these are actually really good. Like, do you draw these yourself?
No, it is magic, but I don't understand what you mean by joke.
Oh. That's fine. Pretend I didn't hear that at all.
Oh.
Not the least bit. Okay, thank you.
Charlie will cast light when it's dark, so that
The bag is easily found.
Yep. But like the really dim light, like almost like black light,
Love it. This is
so
great.
it's not bothering anyone else.
Absolutely.
At nighttime, the little Harriet on the bags would be in like little footy pajamas.
With like a little cap and
Yeah, with a
a
little
tiny
nightcap.
teddy bear.
Mhm.
Yeah. As he got to know her better, like things that she liked and stuff like that.
This is very good. This brings me immense joy, more than I can say. Wonderful. Okay, so the travel goes without a hitch. It's more of a squeaky hinge than anything. But about a week into the journey, you'll start seeing Three Earrings more. She'll start coming out of her captain's quarters, and just start looking more and more confident as the days go on. She'll mostly stay near the helm and look not forwards towards Darktoe, but backwards towards the east. Here, let me actually bring you guys to the map so you can like see what I'm talking about here.
There's a map.
Oh no.
Well, no, it's just
the big map.
the big map.
Oh.
Don't worry, it's just the big map. Okay, this is stuff.
Charlie screams in support class.
No.
Charlie screams and he literally just said he was burning all of his spell slots.
for a goof.
Okay, so where you guys started was way over here in Nicodranus. And Darktoe's way the fuck over here to like the southwest. Way the hell over here. So that's why it takes so heckin' long to get there. But yeah, you'll notice that Three Earrings is mostly paying attention to behind you guys. And for good reason. Just when you come into eyeshot of a large island off in the distance towards the west, on the morning of like the week and a half that you guys have been traveling, Three Earrings will whistle and call attention to everyone on the ship, which is really easy to do because it's a small ship. She'll turn to you with a smile on her face and say, they are paying attention. They do care. Take a look. And behind her, off in the distance, but not too far away, you will see an armada of ships. Hard to count, not only because of how far away they are, but how it blackens the entire horizon. How many ships are on their way westward, right behind you guys? You see, if you approach recruitment with inclusivity and understanding that talents can be created and molded, anyone's willing to take part if it means they can develop their story. Just like you guys. Whatever happens, know that I care for you all so very much. I am grateful for the opportunity to do this, to prove that the Revelry has a chance at being different. Let's get him.
Okay. Just tears are kind of streaming down his face, and he's like wiping at them at like the power of like just, you know, a good leader, and he's just very proud, and you can see him just
Pliny's there like wiping your tears like, oh.
Pliny's scowling at him like, get it together, man.
Whatever Turley has recently cast light on like fades as Turley starts considering taking a nap to prepare for the battle now. Like he's been fooling around too much.
At this point, you guys have... It's still off in the distance, and it's a massive island that you're coming up against. But at this point, you kind of have a headwind, so it is slowing down your travel. But it is allowing the fleet of ships behind you to start catching up. 3 Earrings has been planning, y'all.
The headwind on the Sea of Thieves. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it.
Absolutely. Anyone that's
Those
ever
psychics.
played Sea of Thieves with me knows that any ship that I am on is called the SS Headwind. It is against the wind, just forever and ever.
Yep. Set sails to
Absolutely.
stupid.
So you guys are in eyeshot of Darktow. You have a fleet of who knows how many ships behind you, and a very, very determined Tabaxi, other than Knight, ready to just kick some pirate ass. And I think there is where we will end tonight's session.
Which means next week, or when we do this, it's a full-on like assault episode from start to finish, and I love it.
Yes. Very good.
Very good.
Wait, I'm the only healer. Fuck.
In this group.
Oh,
Did you
my
see
God,
how
I
many
love you.
fucking ships are behind you guys? Not
Benevolent DM,
literally.
I love
so.
you, your face, and everything about you. Thank you.
It's gonna
I
be
will
fun.
remind you that Harrison has 37 hit points.
Well, you have more next
You have
time.
more next
Yeah,
time.
you'll have more next time because you guys are leveling up to level 8.
You'll break 40.
Let's not get crazy.
Fingers crossed. Remember.
Maybe, you know, one of the pirates in their preparations brought some healing potions with them. Who knows?
Who knows?
It is, maybe one of the ships is like a mobile apothecary.
Yes.
And that
You don't
dude
know?
from that dude from oh fuck, what was the town's name? Oh shit. The little gnome dude that can't see.
Yeah.
Maybe he chartered a ship from Wildemount.
This is very good. Oh, goodness. Well, these guys have some leveling up to do and some planning because next week we're coming back with a full-on assault of Darktow session. It's going to be super cool. Let's go around and reintroduce yourselves, talk about who you played, what you have coming up, all that fun stuff as I continuously burp from the excessive corn dog eating I had earlier. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with Sarah.
Hi. I'll just go ahead and turn this off now. I look weird now and I hate it. Hi.
I love it.
Hi, I'm Osaric Spenko, and I played Harrison Gandazar, the High Elf Wizard. He is always such a fucking delight to just come on and be absurd. So I love this campaign. If you like my face and the words I say sometimes, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Osaric Spenko. As for what I have coming up, you can catch me tomorrow night over at TBK Roleplay in Proper Parlor Games, where I will be playing. It's a show where we play board games in character. We're using our characters from Roundhouse Whitebridge. So I'll be playing Martin Alexander, who is only called Martin when he's in trouble, named Marty. And we're playing A Study in Emerald, which is a super cool board game. Come check it out. It should be a lot of fun. After that, I'm back here on Sunday for Morningstar and Company in the evening. It'll be fantastic. And then I'm on a little bit of a sabbatical, and we'll be back here with Beyond the Tides on the 5th. You can find me over at TPK Roleplay Not this Saturday, but next Saturday for Dark Echoes. But other than that, we're just going to take a little breather. It's going to be great. Passing on over to Chum.
Yes, that's me. I also go by Chum Nation around the internet parts. I've been playing Knight, the Tabaxi monk. Yes, forgive me. I was looking at the level up screen. We're going next week for this again, right? That's what we talked about?
Yeah.
Yes. So next week for this again, please come back. And then, but before that, this Sunday for the Morning Star. That's the one. Please come back for all the Nat 20 things, particularly Sunday and Wednesday. Tyrant.
Everyone, I'm Tyrant. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Tyrant. I'm very excited to finish out this arc. It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited. Very foreboding storm cloud storm system out in the distance that I saw earlier in the episode. Tabling that one. Tomorrow I'm going to, along with Sarah and Saint, be over at TPK for Proper Parlor Games. We will be playing a study in Emerald with our Season 1 Roundhouse White Bridge characters. It's going to be very cool. It's going to be very Cthulhu-esque board game, so come check that out if you're interested. Tonight, after this, and on Friday, I will be streaming on my personal channel, Dr. Tyrant, here on Twitch. Tonight will be some Subnautica because it's just all sea themed this week. And then Friday, I will be finishing up Life is Strange with the final chapter. It is very intense and emotional and kind of heartbreaking. If you're into that kind of emotional wreckage, come check it out. If not, I don't blame you. And then after Friday, I'm gonna be off until next Wednesday. So come hang out. See?
You're muted.
Hi, that's me. I'm DMF Saint. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at DMF Saint. I also running things over here on Nat 20. I personally love playing Turley, so thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. And I'm very much enjoying this campaign. If you want to come over to the TPK roleplay and see all of us again, you should, because it's going to be a good time. I'll be playing Matt from season 1 of Roundhouse. I will not say whether he is from season 2 or not. That is your call to determine by watching season 2 when it starts later next month. Also, this this Sunday on Morningstar and Company Incorporated, something big's about to happen. So it's a good episode to watch if you want to check it out. Also, there are at least 2, if not 3 new shows that are being planned for Nat 20 in late May. So please be on the lookout for those too. Hey, Ash.
Hi, that's me. Don't mind me and my stunned silence about upcoming Sunday stuff. Jesus, oh God.
I'm not okay.
Everything's fine.
What could go wrong? It'll be fine.
It's okay. I have a ton of backup characters. We'll be okay. Hey, hi, I'm Ash. I go by Ash and Rabbit here on Twitch and over on Twitter. You can mostly find me here on Nat 20 doing this dang thing. Wednesdays, some Wednesday of a month. And then Sundays for Morningstar and Company Incorporated. This is also my on week for the Crits and Giggles / Tenements of the Great Rift campaign over on Dat Magic Juice's channel, which is a hoot and a holler, and my God, it's just the coolest freaking thing. We found the Tome of Foes. We found it, and it's like revealing itself to one of the characters like occasionally as she's diving into it, and it's all like there's a bunch of homebrew shit, and it's just the coolest thing. Like if you're interested in like watching new D&D players just fucking tear it up, please come visit. It's so much fun. I will also do a very quick personal plug. Starting this Saturday and for the length of May, I will be finding as much time as possible to stream on my own personal channel because it is St. Jude Play Live. We're gonna be kicking off a really fun month of fundraising. It's gonna be really cool. I got some really silly and dumb incentives in there. So come and check that out and try and help me raise enough money to wipe my Animal Crossing island. Do I want to? No, but does that mean that we'll have a lot of money raised for St. Jude? Absolutely. Anyway, that's gonna be it for all of us. We're gonna go and kick it over to Neon Lights Roleplay, who
Hell yeah.
is just killing it over there. Everyone feel free to drop a follow over there if you are not already. And we will see you here Sunday for Morningstar and next Wednesday, for more Beyond the Tides. Thank you again. We'll see you soon.
Bye.